Fellow viewers of Unfamiliar Trio, the omnibus package was passed by the U.S. House and the Senate, and I believe has officially been signed by the White House or President Trump. And the omnibus package is what was packaged along with the stimulus package for the American people. I still believe the stimulus package was absolutely pathetic for the American people who have been locked down for nearly a year. But when it comes to the omnibus package, there are some major concerns, as in Title 18 United States Code to prohibit illicit digital transmission services. They also title it, cited as the Protecting Lawful Streaming Act of 2020. This was snuck into the 5,500-page omnibus package, and this is unfortunately very typical of this is typical of U.S. Congress for them to sneak in really messed up bills. They tried to clarify, and what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go over this bill to clarify for everyone who wants to know what's going on with this bill, especially this is vital for all content creators on anywhere from BitChute, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, you name it. If you're putting up content, especially those who do gaming streaming, this is something that you absolutely need to know. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to fix this a little bit real quick. And let's see, display capture. What I need to do, I need to have my cursor showing for this one just in case for you guys so you can see exactly what I'm highlighting here. But it's a huge concern because people, they stream games, they upload game commentary, walkthroughs, and everything like that. And there isn't a whole lot of clarification in here. And hopefully when we read through this entire, or as much of this bill as possible, there are, let's see, I'm going to scroll down real quick. Luckily, this bill is only 5 pages long, so it's not too bad. And we're going to start here. To amend Title 18 United States Code to prohibit illicit digital transmission services, be enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the United States of America in Congress assembled. Section 1, short title, may be cited as the Protecting Lawful Streaming Act of 2020. And again, this is the one that was written by Senator Tillis right here. And this is the exact one that a few weeks ago people were extremely concerned about. This is the one that was pretty much co-written by major record labels, Disney, Comcast, major content holders. So the concern is this going to be ripe for abuse? And before we get into it, this is the one that rather than just going on DMCA, which is civil court lawsuits, and, copy strikes and everything, this now is going to criminalize the use of copyrighted material. So they said there were clarifications that it was for en masse illegal streaming of copyrighted content for profit or for an enterprise business model. But let's go ahead and go over this with everyone. So we're at number 4. No, we're at 6. Illicit Digital Transmission Services Amendment, Chapter 113 of Title 18 United States Code is amended by inserting after Section 2319B the following. 2319C, Illicit Digital Transmission Services. So this is to clarify also for streaming, because that was a loophole that a lot of people were using to illegally stream copyrighted material. So definition in this section: 1, the terms audiovisual work, computer program, copies, copyright owner, digital transmission, financial gain, and you want to keep a very good eye on financial gains. So that's going to be something you really need to clarify on. Motion picture exhibition facility, perform, phonorecords, to perform work publicly, sound recording, and transmit. Have the meanings given those terms in Section 101 of Title 17. I'm not used to reading like this, I can tell you that. 2. The term digital transmission service means a service that has the primary purpose of publicly performing works by digital transmission or streaming. 3. The terms publicly perform and public performance refer to the exclusive rights of a copyright owner under paragraphs 4 and 6 of Section 106, relating to the exclusive rights in copyrighted works of Title 17 as limited by Sections 107 through 122 of Title 17, and 4. The term work being prepared for a commercial public performance means a computer program, musical work, motion picture, or other audiovisual work or sound recording, if at the time of unauthorized public performance. So, number 1 on page 3, the copyright owner has a reasonable expectation of commercial public performance, and 2, the copies of phonorecords of the work have not been commercially publicly performed in the United States by or with authorization of the copyright owner. Or B, a motion picture, if at the time of unauthorized public performance, the motion picture, I'm not a lawyer, okay? Has been made available for viewing in a motion picture exhibition facility, and 2, has not been made available in copies for sale to the general public in the United States or by with the authorization of the copyright owner in a format intended to permit viewing outside a motion picture exhibition facility. So we're going to clarify on that one. So right here with 2, they're specifically talking about movies that are going to be in a motion picture kind of facility. Specific, they're talking movies and TV shows. So they don't want people streaming these. They don't want wanton streaming of other people's copyrighted materials that are specifically for theaters and cable. So there is that clarification, and that also goes for a lot of music. Okay, or had not been commercially publicly performed in the United States by or with the authorization of the copyright owner for more than 24 hours before the unauthorized public performance. So if you manage to get a hold of it and you're publishing it before they can even get it out, even more trouble, which means you done stole it. So B, prohibited act. It shall be unlawful to willfully and purposes of commercial advantage or private financial gain offer or provide the public a digital transmission service that, 1, is primarily designed or provided. Okay, so we're going to focus on this word primarily designed or provided for the purpose of publicly performing works. So primarily. So that might be where they're talking about their clarification right here for streamers and content creators, primarily. So if your sole purpose is to re-upload someone's music or videos, and that's your sole purpose, and you're trying to add something in to hide it, maybe that's what they're saying. So primarily designed or provided for the purpose of publicly performing works protected under Title 17 by means of digital transmission without the authority of the copyright owner or the law. 2, has no commercially significant purpose or use other than to publicly perform works protected under Title 17, means of digital transmission without the authority of the copyright owner or the law. So again, we're going to re-clarify on here. It does look like they're saying the sole purpose of it is to provide those publicly provided works. So I guess especially comes to like music. If you're just uploading the music to upload the music, it's honestly, it's not fair to the copyright owner. So there is some level of fairness in this right here, especially with 1 and 2 listed right here between part 5 and 10. And starting at line 15, 3 is intentionally marketed by or at the the direction of the person to promote its use in publicly performing works protected under Title 17, means of a digital transmission without the authority of the copyright owner or the law. So we're gonna reread this one. Is intentionally marketed by or at the direction of that person to promote its use in publicly performing works. Okay. So, and so yeah, they're also talking right here. They have to, like, if they try to take you to criminal court, they have to show intent. So you have to be intentionally marketing these things of the copyrighted material. Um, so at line 20, penalties: any person who violates subsection B shall be, in addition to any penalties provided for under Title 17 or any other law, fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 3 years or both. And they're probably going to go for both. You know how these record companies really, really want to go after people who steal their material. And even individuals can be ruthless and they want to make back their losses. You can't blame them for that. And on page 5, 2, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 5 years or both if the offense was committed in connection with one or more works being prepared for commercial public performance. If the person knew or should have known the work was being prepared for commercial public performance, and 3, shall be fined under this title, imprisoned not more than 10 years or both. So you could be facing up to 10 years if you're intentionally doing this stuff. I'm going to clarify, this is in the United States. From what I know, they cannot go after someone outside the United States. Okay, so or both, if the offense is a second or subsequent offense under this section or section 2319A. D, rule of construction. Nothing in this section shall be construed to affect the interpretation of any other provision under civil copyright law. So affect interpretation of any other provision, civil copyright law, including the limitations of liability set forth in section 512 of Title 17, or principles of secondary liability, or to prevent any federal or state authority from enforcing cable theft. So cable theft that's an entirely different ballgame. Just don't screw with it. Seriously, don't do it. So on line 20, table of sections amendment. The table of the section for chapter 113 of Title 18 of the United States Code is amended by inserting after the item relating to section 2319B following 2319C illicit digital transmission services. So that's everything that is listed under this bill for, again, scroll up again, right here, Protecting Lawful Streaming Act. Right now, I have reached out to Senator Tillis, and I have not gotten any response yet. I've reached out to Tillis for response and clarification or even comment on this bill. I have not gotten anything back, and I'm hoping I do, because there are a lot of game commentary streamers. Right now, with the language as I read it, I am not a lawyer. Looks like game streaming should be okay. Make sure you're adding commentary. If you're uploading to YouTube, it's fair to say don't use copyrighted material like music, movies, and stuff like that. The gaming industry itself is typically pretty fair about it, especially if you're adding commentary. If you're just uploading like cutscene footage, don't do it, because you're taking publicly performed works. As for game commentary, that's what I'm waiting for comment on. Right now, I'm under the assumption that still falls under fair use. I'm hoping that this does not completely eliminate fair use. If it eliminates fair use, then almost every content creator I know is completely screwed. If fair use is still in play, there is a possibility that DMCA systems, because what they're trying to go for with combating people using fair use is using DMCA, saying you stole copyrighted material for your own personal gain, is what they're trying to do. And this is why I'm reaching out for comment. There is a possibility that this law signed in, if fair use is still in play and you properly follow the confines of fair use, means they can't just take you to civil court, because now they're saying you stole copyrighted material. Therefore, they have to take you to criminal court, which is a risk in itself. So if you have a lawyer, talk to a lawyer. They're going to be able to clarify this much better than I can. I am only speculating that this now falling under a criminal court means they need to be able to show beyond a reasonable doubt that you willfully stole the material for for the pure purpose of re-uploading beyond the confines of fair use. That does mean I'm pretty sure this is going into effect a lot faster than other laws because there's money to be had, not money to be spent on it. So it's going to go into effect a lot faster. The easiest thing to say is when you're making videos, when you're streaming content, don't put music on there. It does mean someone say, I know a lot of VR chat streamers, a lot of game streamers, and people can run by and they're just blasting music. You are not held criminally liable for someone else running by blasting music. That does also mean if they try to DMCA strike you, there is a possibility, and again, talk to a lawyer, that if they try to DMCA strike you, that you could say this accusation falls under the amendment right here. So if it falls under here, they would have to prove it in criminal court. But again, we're at the complete whimsy of major record companies and major production companies. So it's best to make sure you go out of your way to keep copyrighted material from being in your works. Talk to a lawyer and make sure that what you're doing is okay. And again, if I get any comment from Senator Tillis, I will update everyone on that clarification or even comment from Tillis. I'm not a big fan of this bill, but I'm crossing my fingers that this also helps with the rampant DMCA strike system because there is no legal recourse most of the time for false DMCAs. So if DMCA striking now falls under the Protecting Lawful Streaming Act of 2020, if it falls under that, the companies accusing for a criminal court need to show beyond reasonable doubt that this was criminal intent. So if it was an accident and it wasn't your fault, you're no longer liable. You should no longer be liable for that DMCA. Again, talk to a lawyer. I don't really have the answers for that. I'm going to do my very best to keep everyone updated with this. Rather than reading an article from a news company, I decided to pull up the actual bill itself from Senate.gov. That's what I did for you. In the meantime, I'm going to do everything I can to keep everyone updated. Go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, notification if you want. And just keep a lookout for when I give anyone updates, and I'll see everyone around.